So this year, whether you want to give me one for all the positions, whether you got like one guy that you're just like, nope, this is the late round penny stock. Who's going to be that guy that you get, beyond round 12 or so, and they just explode? Do you want to start us off, Scott, Graham? You guys, either one of you have a strong take on this one?
I'll let Scott go.
Yeah. So at wide receiver, it's Antonio Brown and it's Deshaun Jackson. Antonio Brown is like not on anyone's, like, no one else is really thinking about that. But he's a guy, I mean, you can't really do it in a super short bench league, but I mean, I'm drafting him in the far majority of my leagues. I don't think he's signed until like week 6. There's a chance they add more games onto a suspension. But at the end of the day, this is Antonio Brown. This is a guy who's finished, top 3 in fantasy points per game in, prior to last season, like 7 consecutive years, whatever. Just an absolute monster, a guy who can go full Exodia, full nuclear in the second half when it matters most in the fantasy postseason. And he's really not on anyone's radar. No one's talking about him. You're gonna have to take the 0 on your bench for 6 weeks, but in the far majority of the leagues I play, I think that's worth doing.
Absolutely. I think when we're talking about highest owned best ball players, I meant to bring him up that I've taken him in literally every single one I've done so far, right around 15, 16. It's like Denzel Mims or Antonio Brown. Like I'm going to go for that upside of Antonio Brown playing even just 3 games is worth whatever help comes in round 15. And if he doesn't, I'm happy I took the pick regardless. What about you, Graham? Do you have any late round penny stocks that you're just like, man, that's going to be a league changer potentially?
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to hit on these guys because they go super late for a reason.
Exactly.
But I mean, I think tight end is so interesting this year because you've got like, I don't know, obviously you've got Kelsey and Kittle who are locks in the second round. I'm fine with those guys. Andrews is a great pick in the fourth, fifth. Same with Ertz. But then that middle range, like I'm kind of just fading it because I love a lot of these late rounders. And one guy that I'm all in on is Blake Jarwin. I know, look, I mean, he's probably going to be the number 4 target on this team. But at tight end, if we can get our tight ends to like a 15, 18% target share, which is around the range where I have Jarwin projected for, the Cowboys are going to throw 600 times. That's an easy bet to make that he'll get to 80, 90 targets. Obviously, the Jason Witten stat, he had 83 targets last year. He finishes as the tight end 11 in fantasy points per game. Like, what's going to happen when Jarwin sees those targets and is just way more efficient on them? You mentioned earlier that I looked into some sticky stats for fantasy. Like yards per route run is by far the GOAT efficiency stat for receivers and tight ends. And Jarwin, over the last 2 years, is top 15 in that stat. Like, I mean, it's basically all the big hitters that you want. Kittle, Kelsey, smash that stat. Jarwin's up there with those guys. I like Jarwin a lot late. One more, too, that I'm really wishing I had way more of is Chris Herndon. And it's just simple. It's just volume. I mean, the Jets, they're going to have to throw a ton this year. The receivers are all banged up. They're all hurt. Denzel Mims hasn't even practiced yet, really. Brashad Perriman's not been able to come back. He apparently has some knee swelling or whatever. There's a real chance Herndon easily walks into 90 targets this year. And him and Sam Darnold had an amazing connection in their rookie seasons. So Herndon and Jarwin, I think, are the 2 late round guys that I've been drafting most this year.
100%. My guys, I've always said, is Teddy Bridgewater, as you guys know. Keep going to the grave on that one. That's my guy. Gonna get him in every single late round draft.
He is my most drafted quarterback in best ball, just because he's free. I mean, he was a 16th, 17th round pick. Everybody loves DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, all the receivers and stuff, but nobody likes Teddy Bridgewater. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly, and it's so easy to create stacks with him. Curtis, like you said, Ian Thomas late, especially if I get the God-given pick number 1 and get Christian McCaffrey, it's a no-brainer. Stack him with.
I know. It's so funny you say that because every time I had the 101 in May, I was like, okay, locking in McCaffrey, and I'm going to take Bridgewater in round 16 because it's free money.
Exactly. It's too easy.